next. Our main event matches Julio Cesar Chavez in his first time back in the ring since the loss to Sergio Martinez a year ago, and after tremendous difficulty making weight. What weight? It was negotiated all the way up from 162 to 173. And the opponent, veteran Bryan Vera, who has scored a couple of big upsets over chess match type boxers in his career. Now can he beat a brawling style similar to his own in the person of Chavez? But first, a look at our upcoming boxing schedule.
HBO Boxing hits the road for an epic fall season ahead. Next Saturday night, Miguel Cotto headlines World Championship Boxing in a 154-pound showdown. He'll take on Delvin Rodriguez. Also that night from Moscow, it's a clash of heavyweights. Ukraine's Vladimir Klitschko heads into enemy territory to defend his title against the undefeated Russian Alexander Povetkin. October 12 on HBO pay-per-view, the Desert Storm, Timothy Bradley, defends his welterweight belt.
What is Timothy Bradley made of?
Steel.
Bradley faces legendary Mexican star Juan Manuel Marquez.
A sensational right-hand knockout by a bloodied Juan Manuel Marquez.
1 week later, an all-action matchup in Denver, Colorado, as the hometown hero Mike Alvarado faces off against the relentless Ruslan Provodnikov. Plus, it's the premiere of Legendary Nights, The Tale of Gaddy Ward, a documentary that chronicles the unforgettable trilogy between Arturo Gaddy and Mickey Ward, and their personal bond forged beyond the ring. October 25, it's the latest installment of my show, The Fight Game, as we continue to tackle the most important issues facing the world of boxing. November 2, from New York City, it's the return of undefeated knockout artist Gennady Golovkin.
Body shot, puts Macklin down, and that'll be the 14th consecutive knockout for Gennady Golovkin.
In his fourth fight this year, he'll put his middleweight title on the line against Brooklyn native Curtis Stevens. 1 week later, hard-punching Mikey Garcia moves up in weight to face 130-pound title holder Rocky Martinez. And the Filipino Flash Nonito Donaire looks to score another victory over Vic Darchinyan in their long-anticipated rematch. Also that night, it's the premiere of 24/7 Pacquiao Rios as they prepare for their upcoming showdown. November 16, Andre Ward makes his long-awaited return to the ring after a 14-month layoff.
Ward just rocked Dawson again with another left hook.
The 168-pound champion defends his title against another undefeated American fighter, Edwin Rodriguez. And November 23, in Macau, China, global superstar Manny Pacquiao makes his highly anticipated return.
And there goes the knockdown.
While Brandon Bam Bam Rios looks to capitalize on his biggest opportunity.
Another right hand, rocks Alvarado. And referee steps in and stops it.
It's Pacquiao against Rios, live on HBO pay-per-view, November 23, from Macau, China. And immediately following tonight's fights, stay tuned for the premiere of 24/7 Bradley Marquez, a behind-the-scenes look as they prepare for their October 12 pay-per-view fight. Don't miss a moment of the action. It's a very exciting next few months for HBO Boxing. For more information about the schedule and the fighters, go to HBO.com.
And we bring you back live to the StubHub Center in Carson, where a half dozen of the fighting stars you saw in that promo are on hand at ringside tonight, including Brandon Rios. Fights Manny Pacquiao November 23. Mikey Garcia. There's a look at Brandon. Here's Mikey Garcia a couple seats away, and as you know, fights November 9 for a 130-pound title against Rocky Martinez, Corpus Christi, Texas. Ruslan Provodnikov, who fought Timothy Bradley earlier this year here in this arena, and fights Mike Alvarado October 19 in Denver. Edwin Rodriguez, opponent for Andre Ward, as Ward returns to the ring after a long layoff November 16. Knockout sensation Gennady Golovkin coming back November 2 versus Curtis Stevens in the small room at Madison Square Garden. And now standing next to me at ringside is Tim Bradley. who will be taking on Juan Manuel Marquez October 12 in Las Vegas. Welcome back, Tim, to the place where you fought Provodnikov earlier this year in a Fight of the Year candidate. You were quite candid, I should say, about suffering headaches and dizziness for a while after that tremendous knockdown, drag-out brawl. How long did it take to recover, and how you doing now?
You know what, it took a few months for my recovery, but I'm doing well now. Everything in the gym, I'm looking great. The sparring has been going well. I'm feeling tremendous shape. I'm ready to go.
You know, we've always said that you fight in a hybrid style and can do a lot of things. You showed one more wrinkle with the way you fought against Provodnikov. Right. But Juan Manuel Marquez is pretty well defined as one of the greatest counterpunchers in the history of the sport. What are your style options against him?
Speed. Speed kills, baby, at the end of the day. Speed. You know, I got to rely on my speed. I got to rely on my energy. I got to rely on my combinations in the ring and my movement.
In watching his last fight against Manny Pacquiao, what do you find more interesting, the two tremendous right-hand shots that turned the fight in his direction, or the rest of the fight when it seemed Pacquiao was outboxing him?
Well, it seemed like Pacquiao was definitely outboxing him, but, you know, we cannot forget about that devastating right hand that he landed. I believe it was in the 5th round or the 6th round he landed and knocked out Pacquiao. I mean, that was unbelievable to me.
After everything you've been through in the last couple of years, the win over Pacquiao, all the controversy that followed that, the physical toil of the fight with Provodnikov, now the build-up to Bradley Marquez starting with 24/7 tonight. What's your perspective on your career at this moment?
It's been a hard fight, a hard-fought road, you know what? But, you know, whatever doesn't kill you make you stronger. So I'm going to keep on fighting, and I'm going to keep on going forward. And, you know, I'm just going to go after what's mine, and that's, you know, be a world champion and continue on the stride in the right direction and keep on climbing towards the stars. So I'm happy to be here, man. Day by day, you know, I'm getting a little bit better more and more each fight. I think this fight we're definitely going to show the fans and show the world what I'm made of. By beating Marquez, you can't deny me. You cannot deny me. I am a top pound fighter in the game.
You're a class act, Tim Bradley. Always a pleasure to see you. Look forward to 2 weeks from now in Las Vegas.
Thank you very much.
All right, November 12, Saturday, October 12, Timothy Bradley versus Juan Manuel Marquez at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas, Nevada. And incidentally, next week, prior to us going to Vegas for that, Miguel Cotto returns to HBO with fighting Delvin Rodriguez Saturday, October 5 from Orlando, Florida. And there's a new wrinkle in Miguel's career as he is now being trained by Freddie Roach. Freddie no longer training Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., at least not for now, but intensively at work with Miguel Cotto and hoping to bring Miguel back from a 2-fight losing streak, the first of his career, with some vibrant new stylings and help from the great Freddie Roach. All right, now let's turn our attention to the fight at hand this evening. And as we bring in Andre Ward, Andre, all of the build-up to the fight has focused on Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s struggle to make weight and his preparation or lack of same for tonight's assignment. At the end of the day, a cash payment is made to Bryan Vera. He stays in the fight at a weight he didn't plan on, 173. Obviously, that weight is the comfortable one for Chavez. It's the only way he could take the fight. How big an advantage is that for Julio Jr.?
I mean, it's a big advantage for Julio. He was already the physically bigger fighter, and this is what boxing is at this level. There's an A side and there's a B side. And even though Vera doesn't have a B side mentality, he is the B side tonight. So he has to accept certain stipulations that Chavez and his team put forth. But he did get paid handsomely for it, and that's the trade-off tonight.
All right, as we look at some footage of Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. preparing to come into the ring tonight. First it was the steam room. There were rumors that he was north of 180 pounds as late as Wednesday this week. Finally made weight Friday at 172.4. What about the psychology of this for Vera? You've mentioned he's been financially rewarded to stay in the fight. He's also been graphically shown what a pawn he is in the game.
Yeah. Well, he's a young veteran in the sport of boxing. He understands the game. He knew that, hey, if I'm going to fight a bigger man and take these kind of extra risks, I'm going to get paid for it. So that's what he's doing. It's going to affect him mentally, but he's a warrior. He's a guy, once again, that's on the B side, but he doesn't have a B-side mentality. He's coming to fight, and he's coming to win tonight.
All right, let's take a look at the tail of the tape now for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. and Bryan Vera. And you see the 4-year age advantage for Chavez Jr., who, despite the large number of fights he's had in his career, is still only 27 years old. Vera on the far side of 30. 2.5-inch height advantage for Chavez Jr., but he's got relatively short arms for a man his height, and therefore has no arm length advantage over Vera, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. And as we mentioned, Chavez Jr. weighed in at 172.4 and Bryan Vera at 171.2. Texas native Bryan Vera's 9 years in boxing have been lined with peaks and valleys. Tonight represents his biggest opportunity. Vera sat down with us to reflect on his humble beginnings and discuss the opponent that he faces in the ring moments from now.
Once my parents got divorced, I was like 8 or 9. We moved to Austin, Texas. It was hard for my mom growing up, man, because she was 3 boys, her by herself. You know, we really were eating rice and beans. My dad was a professional heavyweight, so growing up, we knew how to box, we knew how to do shadow box and do simple things like that. I was always into baseball and football, and I went junior college baseball for 2 years. I started picking up boxing again around that time, so it was just all boxing from there on, man. Sometimes they would give me a 3-week notice to go jump into somebody's backyard, and sometimes I would upset them. The times that I didn't is because I wasn't prepared myself. You know, I was out messing around doing things that I wasn't supposed to, and started changing that up these last 4 fights, and I dedicated myself.
171.2 pounds.
They already made the weight change already. I guess it's gonna be at 173, but it's considered maybe super middleweight, so we'll see. To me, it just shows me that he's not prepared. He does have talent. Obviously, he wouldn't be where he's at right now. But it definitely has to do a lot with his name, too. It's probably kind of an embarrassment to his dad, because his dad looked like he was a hard worker and got, you know, the best fighter ever, pretty much, you know what I mean? So I think he takes advantage of the situation, and he's definitely not a hard worker like his dad.
All right, here comes Bryan Vera. Andre, he has 6 losses in his career because, by his own admission, he tends to get hit too much. But he also has a couple of huge wins over relative chess players Andy Lee and Tomas Sinziric, when he was able to lure them into fights that were more physical than what they like. Tonight he fights a guy who probably will go to war with him if he wants to brawl. Does that play in his favor?
I mean, absolutely. Obviously, he's dealing with the weight disadvantage like we just talked about. But Vera is the type of guy where he wants to brawl, he wants to fight. That's his game. His team came in the ring and said, in the fighter meeting and said, hey, we want to box more. I don't believe it. Vera wants to fight, and he's going to get one tonight against Chavez Jr.
So now Vera's in the ring. And meanwhile, the past year has been a tumultuous year for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And we're not quite ready to bring Chavez Jr. to the ring, so there's referee Lou Moret saying hello to Vera. And you see behind Vera his veteran trainer, Ronnie Shields. Ronnie is a cool head. When you've been through the kind of stuff you've been through this week, in the case of Vera, it's good to have somebody like Shields around. Meanwhile, the past year, as we mentioned, tumultuous for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He suffered his first loss, was suspended from boxing, has had well-documented battles with his weight. Chavez sat down with us to reflect on his past and his future in and out of the ring.
The winner by unanimous decision, Sergio Martinez.
It
was a difficult year because of everything that happened, the loss and the marijuana. Really wasn't at 100% physically or mentally during that time. You learn from everything, those errors that were quite costly. Well, I want to have Freddie Roach with me, but for this fight, he was training with Miguel Cotto and Pacquiao, so there was very little time. So we decided my father would be in the corner next to me. And also, I think it's a great opportunity to showcase my trainer, Vladimir, who has been a trainer with me in my camp for 9 years.
172.4 pounds.
I will make weight, no problem. I did go up in weight because I was away from the sport, but it's also true that for every single one of my fights, I've always been at the limit of my weight division. And in terms of the critics and what they say, you know, the critics have always been because of who I am and my surname. And we are completely prepared for this fight.
¿Verdad? Yo siento.
Well, I guess those of you that have been parents will know is that I really can't grasp the idea 100% until I see the baby. But truthfully, after so many difficult moments in this last year, because of the criticisms, because of the loss, imagine this is a gift from God. It comes at a great moment in my life. And apart from that, it's something that will make me fight even more to obtain the things that I want.
He said he wanted to train with Freddie Roach, then never showed up in Roach's wild card gym. He said he wanted to use Alex Ariza as a physical trainer, then he fired Alex Ariza. Fight was originally scheduled for September 7, then moved back 3 weeks because of a cut, the severity of which was questioned by many. Then the fiasco involving the weight. So it's been open season on Julio Cesar Chavez in boxing media. A lot of people see him as a potential future opponent for you, Andre. What's good about him?
Well, I mean, the kid can fight. He's got a lot of his father, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. in him. Great body puncher, great inside game. The kid can fight. It's just the out-of-the-ring antics that are bringing him the bad press. He better be focused tonight because he's got a real fighter in front of him in Bryan Vera.
And as we mentioned, he'll have his father, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., in the corner with him for the first time tonight. Now let's go to Lupe Contreras in the ring to begin the festivities.
From the StubHub Center, Carson, California, we welcome you to another edition of HBO's World Championship Boxing, proudly presented to you by Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated in association with Promociones Sanfed, Arthur Palulo's Banner Promotions, and La Cerveza Tecate con Carácter. This bout, 10 rounds at a mutually agreed catch weight of 173 pounds. This bout being sanctioned by the California State Athletic Commission, Commission Chair John Frierson, Executive Officer Andy Foster. The 3 judges in charge of scoring are Buenader, Carla Kais, and Marty Denkin. The man in charge, referee Dr. Lou Moretz. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's about to go down. We find out quién es el más macho. Introducing first, the fighter in the blue corner. He steps into the ring wearing black with copper trim. His official weight, 171 1/4 pounds. In 29 bouts as a professional. He maintains a record consisting of 23 victories against 6 losses, 14 of those victories coming by way of KO. The reigning NABO middleweight champion, representing the ATX, Austin, Texas, Bryan, the Warrior Vera. His opponent across the ring in the red corner, wearing black with green trim. When he stepped on the scale, he registered an official 172 1/2 pounds. And after stepping into the ring 48 times as a pro, he maintains a record consisting of 46 victories against 1 lone defeat, 1 bout even, 1 no contest, and 32 of his victories coming by way of knockout. The former WEC middleweight champion of the world, Puro Culiacán, Sinaloa, Mexico, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Aquí está bien. This is good. Right in here. I'm giving you instruction and dressing. Right in the reglas. I want a good clean fight. Quiero una pelea limpia. Out of the esquina, go to your corner and wait the bell.
One final note before the first bell. In addition to all the negotiations related to weight and the extra money that went to Vera, the fight was cut
this week from 12 rounds to 10. That is seen as an effort on the part of Vera's corner to take advantage of their expectation that Chavez may start very slowly. He started very slowly last year against Sergio Martinez. He started very slowly in the fight which preceded that against Andy Lee. So surely Ronnie Shields, Andre Ward, has told Bryan Vera to go out and be aggressive early and try to bank some rounds.
Yeah, that's the plan, obviously. It may backfire. Chavez looks like he's under his feet really nicely, and that could leave Vera open for some shots. But that's Vera's style, so let's see what happens.
Vera stalking Chavez Jr. as round one begins. So you have the specter of the putatively smaller man stalking the larger guy to start. But again, the mentality in Vera's corner is Chavez Jr. has trouble getting on track.
But I like Chavez Jr. right now. He's very relaxed. He's a veteran in the ring. He's almost got 50 fights. He's not bothered by Vera and the extra movement and motion that he's giving him. He's in a comfort zone right now.
He's actually had exactly 50 if you count the no-1 contest, which was marked off of his record when he tested positive for diuretics after the fight with Troy Rowland. Vera's getting in a couple of sharp jabs and the left hand early on.
Good shot from the bigger man, Chavez.
Body shot by Chavez Jr. Oh, good left hook by Julio Chavez Jr. right on the whiskers of Bryan Vera.
See, it's one thing to be aggressive, but is it effective aggressiveness? And right now, Vera's giving up a lot of energy trying to implement this Ronnie Shields game plan, but he's not effective.
We're accompanied at ringside by unofficial scorer Steve Weisfeld. And Steve, to start us off, give us a capsule report on referee Lou Moret.
Lou Moret is a top-notch 30-year veteran who did a nice job in Mosley De La Hoya 1, and I liked his stoppage of the Marcos Maidana Josecito Lopez fight. My only quibble is that I think he permitted a little too much holding and hitting in the Luis Klitschko and Guerrero Berto bouts, but he's a high-quality referee.
No holding here so far, just hitting. And despite the expectation on the part of Ronnie Shields that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. would start slowly, he's actually gotten in a couple of good, clean left hooks and a vicious body shot just a minute ago during that report on Lou Moret.
It's just experience from Chavez Jr. There's nothing that Vera's showing him right now that he hasn't seen before, so he's taking his time and he's landing good shots.
Well, there's no mystery in Bryan Vera. He opens up, throws wide shots, tries to get you with power punches, comes to fight. The one thing you'll never see from him is a lackluster effort. He's here to give it his all.
That's right.
Stretch your legs out for me. Now listen. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Okay, now listen. Yeah. Low. Listen. Don't follow him. Step over. Just cut him off this way. Cut him off that way. Stay down. And then, but keep doubling and tripling that jab up. When you get...
How do you feel him? You gotta press and flex, all right? Flex and use that jab continuously. Remember, when he misses, you attack. Was that a good round, Dad? Yeah. Keep your waist low and use the jab. And get in close. Just like you're doing.
Still early in the fight, but Chavez Jr. feints the jab and lands a beautiful left hook on Bryan Vera, and he gets Vera's attention right away.
Copy box numbers in round one. Chavez Jr. was 8 of 24. Vera was 8 of 43. But you saw the big left hook by Chavez Jr. That and a body shot, in my view, probably won him the round. Steve Weisfeld will give us his scorecard as we go along. Early on in the second round, and Bryan Vera seemed to want to even the score a little bit for those clean shots that Chavez Jr. landed in round one.
This is what you see when you see a good little man fighting a good big man. This is probably an even fight right now, but you see and you notice when Chavez lands versus when Vera lands. Chavez is going to win that battle every single time.
As was the case there seconds ago when Chavez stopped Vera in his tracks with a left hook.
That's the weight difference that we talked about earlier.
Couple of good uppercuts there by Vera.
You gotta love Vera. He's not gonna lay down. He's gonna give you everything he's got until he has nothing left.
We mentioned that Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Sr., or excuse me, Julio Cesar Chavez Sr., father of, is in the corner with his son tonight. He is not the lead trainer. The man who has trained Chavez for the fight is Vladimir Valdenebro. Good right hand by Chavez. Already Chavez is far more active and effective than he was in the first few rounds against Sergio Martinez last September. Of course, he's not facing Sergio Martinez.
See a little redness around the eye of Chavez Jr. on both sides. On the right side, though, that's the old scar tissue from previous cuts. And we'll see if Vera opens that up tonight.
Vera now remembering the work behind his jab, as he had promised he would do. See him trying to double up on the jab from time to time. Chavez Jr. focuses to the body, then comes back upstairs.
Good chopping right from Vera.
Good body shot by Vera.
Then the big man gets his back.
Seconds, 10 segundos.
Active second round for both fighters. And both landed some pretty good shots. Immediately following our show, stay tuned for the premiere of episode 1 of our two-part series, 24/7 Bradley Marquez. Right after that, it's Max Kellerman's face-off with the two fighters.
Use your jab, follow it up. You're doing very well, Julio. You're doing very well. You're closing out very good, relaxed. Very nice, don't despair, keep it going, keep throwing that jab. Finding your range. He's only coming in. He's gonna come in and he's gonna open up by himself, but you're working him very well. That's it. Flex your way some more.
Bryan Vera's family seated at ringside. His mother there to the left, his girlfriend Tia Martinez. Next to her in the red top. Combi box numbers in round 2. Chavez was 10 out of 33. Vera 16 of 67. Vera is basically doubling Chavez Jr. early in attempted punches. That's fine with Julio. He's not in a punch count contest. It's about the quality of the punches he lands.
That's it, and he's landing quality shots, or has landed quality shots in these first 2 rounds. And he's doing a good job putting money in the bank with body shots and well-placed shots for later in this fight, just like he just did right there.
Good left hook to the body by Chavez Jr. That punch will win you more fights than any other one individual weapon, in my personal view. A minute into round 3. If you've skipped on training for the fight, as certainly a lot of people feel as though Chavez has, one thing that could go wrong is your skin won't hold up. You mentioned the scar tissue around one eye. He looks a little flabby. Bryan Vera may want to try to get to the face more often and see if he can bring a cut.
Yeah, looking at Chavez's body, you definitely see that he trained, but he didn't train like he did probably, you know. It's hard to even say for the Martinez fight because we don't know how hard he trained for that fight.
Well, he made 160.
He made 160, but he feels like he can get away with that with the Bryan Vera. We're going to see if that backfires tonight.
Good combination by Vera there. Got in a body shot, slightly missed with the uppercut, but gave Chavez something to remember with that little wrinkle. Vera working the body again.
Yes, he is. He's digging.
Right uppercut, straight left hand for Vera. Showing a lot of variety in there. Through the middle portion of his career, Vera, by his own admission, was a brawler and a somewhat unskilled one. For the last 5 fights, he's been with Ronnie Shields, and that is elevating his technical game.
Yeah, he seems to be a little bit more defensively responsible. He seems to have a game plan beyond just going in there and out-fighting and out-toughing his opponent. And I like what I see from Vera right now. It's a very competitive fight early in this fight.
The only trouble for Vera is he mounts a rally, he generates activity, and then he gets stopped in his tracks by one big blow.
Yes, he does, but he's taking those big blows well right now. But again, I gotta stress, it's still early.
Vera's been knocked down 7 times in his career. Chavez Jr., very hard to knock off his feet.
10 segundos, 10 seconds.
Brandon Rios at ringside.
I love you, baby.
The now well-traveled Brandon Rios, who went on a global publicity tour with Manny Pacquiao, was awed by the Great Wall of China.
Use the hook with the right hand. Please, just use it. Use the jab and the right. Put the right. You hit him with right to the body, he's getting hurt. But 2 punches now, right?
We see Chavez Jr. duck down and land a beautiful overhand right that Vera is taking well now, but again, it's early in the fight. Can he take those kind of shots midway and even down the stretch in this fight?
Power punches through round 3. Chavez 25 of 46. In other words, he's landing over half his power shots. Vera 24 out of 65. Vera had an overall 21-13 advantage in the 3rd round. The numerical pattern of the fight emerging. Vera will throw more, land more. Chavez is landing at a higher percentage and landing the harder punches. Steve Weisfeld, how do you have it through 3?
After 3 rounds, I have it 29-28 for Vera. As Andre said, Chavez just landed the more effective shots in a close first round. In rounds 2 and 3, I thought Vera was busier and worked harder. He must continue to move forward to win. And I think his defense is better than Chavez imagined. So after 3 rounds, I have Vera up by 1 point.
We're gonna see what kind of shape Chavez Jr. is in tonight, because Vera, like we've been stressing, is gonna make him earn everything. Chavez is landing these clean shots, but Vera's not going anywhere. And he's still putting a lot of pressure on Chavez Jr. And he's starting to also lump Chavez Jr. up, so this fight is getting real interesting as we hit the midway point.
Well, Vera's had a 16-week training camp, in effect, preparing for the fight. For a large percentage of those 16 weeks, he was training to make 162 pounds. Then for a few days, 163. Then for about a week, 168. And then eventually 173. So he's drifted up in weight, and he's probably functionally been in shape to fight at this weight for several weeks.
Yeah, as long as a coach knows when to pull a guy back and rest him in that type of scenario, he'll be fine. And right now, Vera doesn't look like a fighter that's overtrained. He looks like a fighter that peaked just in time.
I agree. He looks very sharp for Bryan Vera. Trouble is he's getting caught and stopped in his tracks repeatedly by Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s much bigger shots.
And we don't know if this is the case, but it looks like if Chavez Jr. hasn't trained properly, you can land those pot shots, 1s and 2s, but you don't have the conditioning or the confidence in your conditioning to put combinations, to let combinations go. And that's what I think I'm seeing right now from Chavez Jr. He's hoping that Vera drops from one of these big rights or these big lefts, but right now, Vera hasn't gotten the memo.
And Vera's enthusiasm is rising as he realizes he can land in combination against Chavez, and he's starting to make Chavez's right eye swell up.
Yeah, he came to win. And we said that from the outset. He came to win. Good shot from Chavez, but Vera took it well.
Very big uppercut from Chavez. And here comes Bryan Vera, continuing to come forward despite the big shots he's been taking.
10 segundos, 10 seconds. Listen for the bell.
Crowd responds to the two big right hands by Julio Cesar Chavez. And there's Chavez Jr.'s girlfriend, Frida Munoz, who is 6 months pregnant, expecting a child in the first week of December. It's a girl.
Julio, hook him up to the right there. The right hook and the right. All right, Julio. We're doing very good, Julio. Put him on top.
You're making him work harder. That's why. That's why. But when you get close, give me some uppercuts in there now. I need uppercuts now, okay? I need uppercuts. Look, give me the uppercut, then go back down to the body, okay? Don't stand right in front of him. When he stops, just turn both feet in the way, okay? Game plan.
CompuBox numbers in the fourth round. Chavez 13 of 37, and Vera 17 of 76. So once again, Bryan Vera doubles Julio Cesar Chavez in terms of punches thrown during the round. Steve Weisfeld scored the round for Chavez, who landed a couple of big shots. But most judges tend to see volume more than they see connect.
Yeah, that's the tough call, because that's a classic case right now, and this is what we're seeing. Sheer volume, Bryan Vera has the advantage. The well-placed shots and the biggest shots are coming from Chavez Jr., but what are the judges looking at? That's the question.
Great body shot by Chavez Jr. And he lands the left hook upstairs. He's choosing only one punch at a time, but he's landing an extraordinarily high percentage of them.
Very accurate, very precise, very heavy blows, and I don't know if Chavez has the confidence in his conditioning right now to let both hands go and create a war with Vera.
Because one thing becomes clear about the relationship with Ronnie Shields and Bryan Vera. You can get a guy to think better defensively. You can get him to work hard to be a better defender. But if he won't move his head, you can't teach head movement to a guy who won't do it.
Yeah, you can try to teach it, but at the end of the day, like you just mentioned, in the heat of the moment, like right now, Vera's going to go to war because that's what Vera does. He's going to try to do what he can do, you know, in a comfort situation when things aren't as heated. But right now, Vera's not thinking about head movement. Vera's taking shots, and Vera's giving shots.
Because guys who go to war are not ducking and slipping.
That's right.
Stop.
Again, Chavez Jr.'s right eye continuing to swell. Bryan Vera needs to work to try to get left hands onto that eye.
Break, let's go, man. Come on. Stop crying. That's mine. That's mine.
Chavez Jr. complains to Lou Moret about a headbutt. Moret says, go ahead and fight.
What we just saw right there is the action of a fighter who didn't get the memo that he's supposed to lose tonight. Good work from Vera on the inside. The ref doesn't break, good shot.
Huge right hand shot by Chavez. Vera walks through it and keeps going.
It looks like it's starting to move him just a little bit more as we hit the halfway point.
Stop. Pick him up. Pick him up.
Like the mentality from Vera right now. He's coming to win this fight.
Absolutely. A spirited effort from Bryan Vera, particularly here in the fifth round.
That short left uppercut hurt Vera, but he ate it and he took it well.
Crowd getting their money's worth in Carson, including Gennady Golovkin, the knockout sensation of the middleweight division. 14 consecutive KOs. His terrific trainer, Abel Sanchez, next to him on the left.
Okay, now listen. Here's what I need you, all right? Look, I need you to be smart in there, okay? I don't need you to fight no dumbass fight now. I don't need you to be cocky with this fucking guy. I need you to stay focused and stay straight ahead. Eyes on him. Move that head, okay? Okay? When you get close, you gotta...
Here we see Vera being the bull. Chavez trying to be the matador, but he catches Chavez and probably buzzes Chavez with that right hand. Chavez answers back with a big shot, big single shot, right hand. Vera seems to take it well. These guys are fighting. This fight is opened up right now.
That turn of the head was not because Vera rolled with the punch. That's because Chavez landed a sledgehammer.
That's right.
CompuBox numbers through 5. Chavez 57 of 171, exactly 33%. Vera 78 out of 336. Vera with a slight advantage in power punches, 49 to 43, but Chavez landing nearly half his power shots. Classic scoring conundrum for the judges. Do I score for the guy who is throwing more and landing more, or do I score for the guy whose shots are thunderous?
The weight advantage for Chavez Jr. Good shot. He's hurt right now, Jim.
Chavez Jr. fighting with his hands at his waist and landing big shots over and over. Bryan Vera is trying to show that he's not hurt, but Chavez Jr. has clocked him massively in this round.
He caught him with some hellacious shots. Vera took him. He's slowly recovering right now. Chavez needs to test him again to see how much he's recovered at this point.
And what a fighting spirit Bryan Vera is showing.
Still a little buzzed.
Won't take no for an answer. Shields, as Vera left the corner 2 minutes ago, saying, move that head. You can tell him to do it. That doesn't mean he's going to do it.
This is who Bryan Vera is right here, Jim.
And this is why he's worth paying to see.
That's right. Good sequence from Chavez. He went to the body and he went right back to the head. Way to mix it up.
Now let's lay out for a second and listen to Ronnie Shields as he tries to work his fighter through this round. Typical of the process, we lay out, we listen to Ronnie Shields, he clams up. Here's the crowd beginning to chant Chavez, Chavez. There are a lot of empty seats here. And if you've read the boxing material on the web this week, you know that Chavez has turned off not just a lot of people in media, but a lot of fans with his cavalier attitude about making weight. But he's putting up a fight, and it's an entertaining one in Carson.
You're going back to acting macho again. I don't need you to be macho. I need your hands up, and I need the hands moving side to side. When you finish punching, I need you to step around him. Don't stand right in front of this man. Look, when he's sitting in the middle of the ring, you go this way or you go that way. Do not just stand right in front of him. You understand? And look, you gotta play that in sometimes, okay? Sometimes you're just going in, you try to time your jab. Double the jab up, but feint. Feint at him, make it throw the right hand.
No head movement from Bryan Vera right here. Chavez blinds him with the flick jab and hits him right on the tip of the chin, gets his attention and buckles him. And Bryan Vera starting to feel these heavy shots from Chavez Jr. right now.
CompuBox numbers in 6. Chavez, 20 of 34. 60% landing percentage. Vera, 17 of 70. Again, more than doubling Chavez in terms of output. Steve Weisfeld, how do you have it through 6?
I have it 57-57. In rounds 4 and 5, you had, as you said, the quality versus quantity debate. I had round 4 for Chavez, round 5 for Vera. Chavez spends too much time on the ropes and moving to his left into Vera's right hand, but he clearly won round 6. So after 6 rounds, I have it even.
Official judges tonight, Gwen Adair, Carla Kais, and Marty Denkin. Adair and Denkin are veterans. Kais is part of a boxing family.
Chavez has landed some hellacious shots to Bryan Vera's head, and he hasn't been able to slow Vera down. I think Chavez needs to start at the body and then go back up to the head to see if he gets Vera's attention.
Another big right hand from Chavez. Vera once again comes forward off the impact and lands a couple of shots on Chavez's face.
Vera seems to have plenty of energy right now, just doesn't have the answers he needs to offset what Chavez Jr. is doing to him.
Well, one thing's very clear. Bryan Vera is tremendously well conditioned for the fight.
Yes, he is. He hasn't slowed down, except when he's gotten hit with big shots. But from an energy standpoint, he's up to par. And this fight still isn't over.
Stop! No, don't push him down.
This fight was booked typically as a comeback fight for a star fighter who's been out of the ring for a year. Bryan Vera was not chosen for the probability that he could be a threat to beat Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. But Chavez Jr. turned him into a threat with the way that he prepared or failed to prepare to come into the ring.
Yeah, I think Bryan Vera was going to be a difficult opponent either way it goes, but he is making it a lot harder by not preparing the way he was supposed to. But Bryan Vera is going to be there until you give him a reason not to be there, as we're seeing right now.
And it's up to Chavez Jr. to find that reason. Sometimes he's been very effective in landing power shots, and sometimes he's been backing away and allowing Bryan Vera to control the momentum of the fight and control the action as he's doing here. And there's a huge left hook. Big comeback shot for Chavez. He's hurt.
Listen, now give it to me.
Be careful, be careful.
You gotta get clowning with this man. I don't need you clowning with this man. You understand? Listen, the guy's leading up with the hook. You gotta keep the fucking man in there. Okay? Now listen, keep the head moving. Stay with the jab. When you get close to him, you gotta keep banging that body. You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand. You winning it.
Right in the hook, right in the hook. Okay, well, let's go. Throw more. Any more? Give me more.
Chavez Jr. lands a beautiful left hook after Vera throws it right and doesn't get his hand back up, and he makes Vera do a funny dance, and once again, got his attention.
And watch Vera grin at the end of the funny dance. We took a quick grab shot of Timothy Bradley at ringside, shaking his head thinking, I fought this way against Provodnikov. I don't ever want to do it again.
He knows all about it.
Copy box numbers in the seventh. Chavez was 12 of 33. 11 of those were big power shots. Vera 22 of 78. Again, when one guy throws 33 punches and the other guy throws 78, it's very difficult for judges not to focus on the difference in activity level.
Volume isn't even on Chavez Jr.'s mind. He's just buying his time. He's waiting to land a couple more big shots because he feels like if I land the right shot in the right place, I can get this kid out of here.
Well, he almost got Sergio Martinez out of there, but at the end of the day, it was too late. He wound up losing a lopsided decision, the first loss of his career, and Martinez remained atop the middleweight division.
Bryan Vera still hungry, still digging, still fighting.
And you saw Ronnie Shields working between rounds. He knows he's got a big chance tonight at something unexpected in Bryan Vera's career, and he's trying to whip his man down the stretch.
If Vera can pull this off tonight, it's a major win, not just for himself, but also for his whole team. Another big hellacious right hand from Chavez Jr.
It would also be a tremendous setback to Julio Cesar Chavez, and to the legions of potential opponents who would like to share in his money.
Tremendous setback if Chavez doesn't get his hand raised tonight. And the pressure's on Chavez Jr. Vera has nothing to lose here. Chavez has everything to lose here.
And as we get to the last minute of the 8th round, it appears that Chavez Jr. is tiring faster than his opponent.
I think Vera's breathing a little bit too. I see Chavez pushing him back a little bit, trying to land that big left or that big right hand to see what happens.
Remember, this is not a 12-round fight. As of Wednesday, it was negotiated back from 12 to 10.
That body shot got Vera's attention, and that's what Chavez has to do, but bring it back to the head if he's going to get this tough cookie, Bryan Vera's attention.
Big right hand for Vera. Chavez is down to 1 punch at a time. Needs to throw combinations to try to turn this around.
Good body shot from Chavez.
That was an excellent idea. The body shot could set up something good. Two rounds left to go. October 5, it's Miguel Cotto live on HBO against Delvin Rodriguez. Check out photos like this on HBO's Instagram page before the Cotto fight. It's a heavyweight title fight also that night between champion Vladimir Klitschko and Alexander Povetkin in Moscow on Povetkin's home turf. Two former Olympic super heavyweight champions going against each other.
You got to fight smart these last 2 rounds. You only got 2 rounds left. You understand? And then you got the upset of the fucking year. You understand me? If you want to win this fight,
the right hook, the right hook. No, try his gloves. We're going into the 9th.
Vera's been digging all night. He throws a nice double jab to hide the right hand, which lands squarely on the temple of Chavez Jr., but it might not be heavy enough to get Chavez's attention.
Power punches through 8 rounds. Chavez 77 of 147. That's more than 50%. Vera 84 of 253, meaning that he's thrown more than 100 more. And you see that Steve Weisfeld now has Chavez Jr. up by a check it. They are dead even after 8 rounds on the Weisfeld scorecard. Now Chavez Jr. backing away, wants the attention of referee Lou Moret. And Bryan Vera is taking advantage to land a multiple barrage of punches.
Chavez Jr. wants to talk, and Vera's not interested.
And you see Chavez Jr. pawing his right eye, which is beginning to close.
Vera has the mentality of a fighter. This is how you're supposed to fight. You're in a fight. You fight fair, you fight according to the rules, but you don't give your opponent anything, and that's what Bryan Vera's doing tonight. He's not giving Chavez Jr. anything. Good body shot from Chavez, somewhat on the hip. He landed it, the ref didn't see it. Those are the kind of shots that can be debilitating down the stretch.
That's good, that's good.
Bryan Vera with 2 punches to the belly. Lou Moret yelling, that's good, that's good.
Vera's getting his own body work in right now.
That's good.
And now Moret says to Chavez Jr., it's not low. That is a good land. Chavez Jr. pausing to complain again. This is no time to talk. This is time to fight.
The ref's not giving Chavez Jr. anything tonight either. Chavez needs to focus on this fight and not look for the ref to help. He needs to get his work in right now.
Good left hook upstairs by Vera as Chavez was landing a body punch. Vera's energy level rising again. Big opportunity in front of him. This is the 9th of a scheduled 10.
Nice volume from Vera. He's not getting hit with the big shots right now. Chavez looks like he's trying to take a breather.
Huge right hand by Chavez.
As I say that. We still have volume versus the big shots right now.
I can't believe it. Bryan Vera just slipped the left hook.
He's got it in him, Jim.
Even the blind squirrel, as they say. Good combination by Vera.
10 segundos. Watch those heads. Don't lean, don't lean. Get back. Tempo.
Tim Bradley watching at ringside, 2 weeks away from his showdown with Juan Manuel Marquez at the Thomas & Mack Center in Las Vegas. And Ronnie Shields with one last chance to talk to his fighter.
All the hard work you've done comes down to this round right here. Right here. You understand? This guy's coming with everything. He know he's behind. Listen to me. He know he's behind. You understand? I need you. Hands up, head moving. No ego, baby. You understand? When he close to you, if you gotta hold him. But go back to the hand.
The right hand, my right hand. Come on, Julio. You're stronger than he is, Julio. This is the last round. You gotta win this one, Julio. This is it. You gotta bring it on, Julio. Attitude with attitude, Julio. This is yours.
Round 10 begins. Steve Weisfeld, our unofficial scorer. For the last 3 rounds, Bryan Vera has functionally doubled Julio Chavez in landed punches. How much trouble is Chavez in now?
I think he needs a knockdown to win the fight. I have it 86-85 Vera. I thought Chavez was on his way to losing the 7th round before he wobbled Vera with a big left hook. I thought Vera was just busier in rounds 8 and 9. And it's interesting, in the fighter instructions, Lou Moret told Chavez that a low blow would be the hip line, not where the trunks are. So after 9 rounds, I have Vera up by 1 point.
Vera active again here in the 10th. It was trainer Ronnie Shields who came up with the idea Wednesday as part of the ongoing negotiation to try to keep the fight together when it was abundantly clear that Julio Cesar Chavez couldn't make 168 pounds. And Shields said, okay, one more thing. Cut it from 12 rounds to 10. That may turn out to be the critical difference here.
Smart move by Ronnie Shields.
Good body shot by Chavez, trying to freeze Vera and set him up for more punishment. Chavez needs to get busy down the stretch.
Up until this point, Vera's closing the show. We got a minute and a half left. Chavez is going to have to open up if he wants to end this on the right note. Vera's doing the right thing by getting his work in and not letting Chavez get work in return. Moving away, not getting hit. He's winning the round right now.
Watch the head. Watch the head.
Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. carries one of the most glorious names in the history of boxing. Because of that, he has been an icon for Mexican fans from the early stages of his professional career on. And he has defied many expectations in rising to the point of becoming a superior fighter, almost a champion in the middleweight division. But has he here been so profligate in preparing for a fight against journeyman Bryan Vera that he turned Vera into a far more difficult opponent than needed to be the case? And with the last week of shenanigans related to weight, has he in fact put himself in jeopardy of losing to a journeyman fighter because he wasn't prepared to fight a 10-round fight, even at an expanded weight of 173 pounds? That's what's at stake as the bell sounds to end the fight. And Ronnie Shields lifts Bryan Vera up. And they're celebrating in the Vera section of the stands. Meanwhile, it's a quiet talk in Chavez's corner. And now Chavez comes to yell at referee Lou Moret, confronting Moret and screaming at him. Well, you can hear that in Chavez's corner there are complaints about the referee. In Vera's corner, there's an expectation that something big is about to happen. Steve Weisfeld gives the last 3 rounds to Bryan Vera, and on Weisfeld's unofficial scorecard, Vera has the upset victory over Chavez Jr. But the 3 official scorecards are yet to come. Let's quickly look at what happened in the fight. Early rounds, a classic confrontation between Vera's activity and Chavez's thunderous shots. That was a big right hand by Chavez in round 6. Round 7, Chavez lands a big shot late in the round. But then in round 8, Bryan Vera began to take over with greater activity as Julio Cesar Chavez seemed to tire down the stretch. And Vera started doubling Chavez in the last few rounds in terms of connected punches. And Chavez Jr. was yelling at Vera, yelling at the referee, but not throwing enough punches to seal the deal. Steve, lay out who the official judges are for us as we await their cards.
Jim, we have 3 quality California judges for this fight. The first judge, Guinadere, is a true trailblazer. At one time, the only female referee in the United States and the first woman to referee a world title fight. She started judging in 1985. Not that many big fights, but she did a nice job in Quillen's victory over Wright. The next judge, Carla Calles, is from a boxing family. Her 2 brothers and her dad are boxing officials. Carla's an active judge, about 70 fights this year alone. The third judge, Martin Denkin, has tremendous experience. He's been officiating for 46 years. And Martin Denkin has been inducted in the World Boxing Hall of Fame. I agreed with him that Bradley Edge Provodnikov.
All right, let's go to Lupe Contreras for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we're completing the scheduled 10 rounds here at the StubHub Center, we go to the scorecard to determine a winner. Judge Sky scores about 96 to 94. Judge Denkin, 97 to 93. And Judge Adair scores it 98 to 92. All 3 in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.
Well, the Veras are stunned. Much of the crowd seems stunned. And once again, it becomes very clear how much an advantage it is to carry a famous name in boxing, as Julio Cesar Chavez does. 96, 94, 97, 93, 98, 92, all in favor of Chavez Jr. Steve Weisfeld, what do you have to say about those scores from your perspective?
I know we talked about the debate between quantity and quality, but it seemed like they gave Chavez the benefit every single round in terms of quantity, in terms of quality over quality, and I thought Vera definitely won more than 2 rounds.
Yeah, 8 rounds to 2. No. That scorecard is preposterous, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought that Vera won the fight, so I thought 8-2 was clearly wrong.
Final CompuBox numbers, and they will offer you a profile of the fight which stands in dramatic contrast to the official result. And you can see it right here, as Julio Cesar Chavez landed 125 of 328. That's a high connect percentage of 38%. But Bryan Vera landed 176 out of 734. Power shots a little bit closer, and you can see that the big difference there is the connect percentage. Chavez Jr. landing more than half his power shots. That usually does win a fight, and the ones he landed were thunderously hard compared to the punches that Vera was able to land. So now let's turn now very quickly to the winner of the fight, the official winner, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Julio, you went through a great deal in preparing to come into the ring. Were you able to perform the way you wanted to perform in the fight?
Sí, bueno, trabajé los 10 rounds, me afectó un poco la inactividad, pero me fracturé la mano derecha en el 5º round
Y él me estuvo pegando mucho con la cabeza y mucho abajo, dile. El referee no vio eso.
I worked the 10 rounds, but in about the 5th round, I fractured my right hand, and he was being very dirty. He was hitting me low and all of that, and hit me with headbutts. But I hit the best punches, I connected the best punches, and I hurt him more.
You began complaining to the referee in the late rounds. You went after the referee after the fight and complained again. Was that about low blows, about holding? What was it?
No sé, o sea, me pegó más de 20 cabezazos. Estaba con la cabeza y me estaba pegando abajo. Cuando me pegó el primer golpe abajo, le dije al referee, como no lo molestó, me siguió pegando de abajo.
He hit me about 20 headbutts, and he kept hitting me low, and I told the referee he's hitting me low, but the referee didn't do anything against him, so he kept on doing it.
You hear the booing of many in the crowd here. I can tell you that our unofficial scorer scored the fight for Bryan Vera. I have a hunch you'll be reading many articles this week which will criticize the decision. Does any of that bother you?
No creo que haya ganado Vera. Lo lastimé en 3 rounds, estuve a punto de noquearlo. Hizo punto, se movió, pero nunca me conectó golpes fuertes. La verdad, yo lo hubiera noqueado.
No, I don't think Vera won the fight. I hurt him quite a bit. Maybe he connected a few punches, but sooner or later I would have knocked him out.
I'm assuming now you're a 168-pound fighter. What are you
No podía el 10º round. Estaba terminado el 10º round.
In the 10th round, he was done. He was done.
I'm assuming you're a 168-pound fighter now. What is your plan for the near future?
Bueno, vamos a bajar la 168 y buscar el título de las 168 libras.
We're going down to 168 and look for the title at 168.
Vamos a ver qué es lo que me dice el doctor en mi mano.
We'll also see what the doctor says about my hand.
Para poder pelear, ojalá en diciembre.
Hopefully we'll be able to fight in December.
Is this the last time we'll see you struggle to make weight like this?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, now let's turn to Bryan Vera. Bryan, your family celebrated. The crowd is cheering you, as you can hear. Our unofficial scorer, Steve Weisfeld, differed with the official judges. What are your thoughts on the decision?
I mean, I thought I did enough to win. I came in this fight. I never fought over 170 in my life. He was supposed to be the guy pushing me back. I backed his ass up the whole time, and I did what I had to do. I worked him. He had me dazed a couple times, never really hurt me. But I backed him up, I worked him. I mean, I feel like I won the fight.
16-week training camp. You had to somehow maintain your focus and your physical sharpness through all the weeks of waiting when the fight was postponed, the negotiation for the weight to go up, etc. At the end of the day, did you fight your best fight?
I feel like I could have done better, but I felt like I won the fight. I did enough to win the fight. You can hear everybody yelling it out. Everybody knows who won the fight. Come on, man. You know what it is. I want to do it again. I hope he gets down to the weight he's supposed to get to and fight me again, and we'll go out here and give everybody a great fight.
Boxing operates according to the golden rule. He who generates the gold is able to make the rules. Everything that happened in the build-up to this fight demonstrated how a guy like you gets treated as a pawn in the game. What is your reflection on the emotional fallout from all of that?
You know, it makes me sick to my stomach that it happened this way, but I'll be back. I've showed many times I've bounced back. I'd like to fight him again. Everybody saw what happened. I hope he gives me another chance to do this again.
All right. You're probably going to be reading a lot of articles this week about how this was a bad decision and you were the real winner of the fight. Is there any consolation for you in that?
I think so. I think there will be that, and I hope he gives me another chance. And we get to the right weight and do it the right way. Instead of all this confusion and everything that was going on, I hope he comes up and we do it again.
All right. Thank you very much, Bryan. Good effort. It's not the first time we've seen it, and it will not be the last. We saw a scorecard 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas in the biggest fight of the year, which aroused a ton of controversy and is generating comments still 2 weeks after the fight. This fight and this score will generate a great deal of comment in the next couple of weeks, and indeed a good deal of disgust as well. And all three of the scorecards at the end of the day favored the fighter with the bigger name, who threw the harder punches and landed the bigger shots. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. A victory for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. His career continues to go forward, and we'll see what happens to Bryan Vera after his noble effort in the face of extremely prohibitive circumstances. Earlier this evening in Montreal, Adonis Stevenson, the newly installed legitimate light heavyweight champion of the world, looked for all the world like a guy who has responded to winning that championship by going into the gym and getting better. He thoroughly dominated Tavoris Cloud, winning every minute of every round on his way to a 7th round TKO. Then Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., coming off a fiasco of a build-up to the fight, which required multiple renegotiations of the weight and the distance of the fight and the money, ultimately got the benefit of the doubt from 3 ringside judges in a fight that presented the age-old conundrum of whether you score it for the guy who throws more and is more active and lands more, or you score it for the guy who lands the bigger shot. At the end of the day, the judges landed a big shot for Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And before we leave tonight, check out what's still to come from HBO Boxing and what promises to be an epic fall season. October 5, live on HBO, Miguel Cotto returns to face Delvin Rodriguez. October 12, HBO pay-per-view brings you Tim Bradley against Juan Manuel Marquez. 1 week later, an all-action matchup between Mike Alvarado and Ruslan Provodnikov. November 2, middleweight champ Gennady Golovkin attempts to extend his knockout streak against Curtis Stevens. 1 week later, a triple header headlined by Rocky Martinez against Mikey Garcia and the rematch between Nonito Donaire and Victor Chinian. November 16, Andre Ward makes his long-awaited return against Edwin Rodriguez. And November 23, from Macau, China, it's Manny Pacquiao against Brandon Rios. For our fall schedule, plus updates on upcoming fights, visit HBO.com and our Facebook page. And remember, coming up next is the premiere of 24/7 Bradley Marquez, followed by their face-off. And now for everyone who worked in Montreal and here in Carson for HBO Sports, I'm Jim Lampley. Good night.